This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
The Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
In a growing conflict of interest, the Prime Minister's rapporteur was paying the same firm for advice as one of the people he was supposed to be investigating. That person, of course, is the former Liberal member for Don Valley North, who left the Liberal caucus amid a foreign interference scandal. And Johnston didn't even interview him. Canadians don't trust this process, and they can't believe Johnston's report. Will the Prime Minister finally call a public inquiry like this House has called on him to do 3 times?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, unfortunately, what we see is another Conservative who is taking a page out of the Trump playbook, where it's just personal attacks when they don't like the outcome. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives made the conclusion prior to Mr. Johnston's report they were never going to accept it. So to pretend now that it's the process they're upset about, when, Mr. Speaker, all it is partisan games. We on this side of the House take the importance of our democratic institutions seriously, and that's why we appointed someone with Mr. Johnston's credibility to this position.
Here, here. The Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes.
If they took democratic institutions seriously, they'd respect the will of the democratically elected people of this House. Voting 3 times for there to be a public inquiry instead, they wanted a Liberal solution to a Liberal problem, and that's why they appointed a member of the Trudeau Foundation, who then hired some Liberals to help him out, and when he thought he was in a conflict of interest, asked another member of the Trudeau Foundation to say that he wasn't. Now we learn, of course, that he and the person he was supposed to be investigating were both getting advice from the same firm. It's levels of conflict of interest with these Liberals. Canadians have had enough. A majority of them want a public inquiry. Will the Prime Minister finally call one today?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, once again, Canadians can see on full display that the Conservatives are not serious about foreign interference. What they'd rather do is just take personal attacks. Another proof point of this, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that we had David Johnston at Proc for over 3 hours, and the Conservatives, in their precious questioning time, didn't ask a single foreign interference question for over 15 minutes worth of their time. Instead, they went for personal attacks, because, Mr. Speaker, to them, foreign interference is a partisan game, but to Canadians, it's serious business.
The Honourable Member for St. Albert, Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, for the Prime Minister's loyal rapporteur, it is conflict after conflict. He hired the crisis management firm Navigator, the same firm hired by the member for Don Valley North, who happened to be the subject of a rapporteur's investigation and for whom the rapporteur conveniently exonerated without even interviewing. This conflict goes to the heart of a rapporteur's questionable conclusions. His report has no credibility. He needs to go. When will the Prime Minister fire him and finally call an independent public inquiry?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, once again, the Conservatives question Mr. Johnston's report, yet their leader, they're cheering.
Just hold on. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, they're cheering the fact that they live under a veil of ignorance, and they're proud to do so. Mr. Johnston's report, they question, even though their own leader has said he refuses to read the information in which it was based on. So, Mr. Speaker, if Canadians want to see somebody who is serious in this House on foreign interference, they should not look at the Conservatives, because all we see is question after question, personal attacks.
The Honourable Member for St. Albert, Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, enough is enough. The conflicts are everywhere. The rapporteur is a family friend of the Prime Minister. He is a member of the Beijing-financed and compromised Trudeau Foundation. He hired a team of Liberals to draft and defend the conclusions of his report, and now this. How many conflicts with this rapporteur is the Prime Minister willing to ignore? When will he fire him and finally call an independent public inquiry?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, what I find highly suspicious is the fact that the members opposite sit and take nothing but personal attacks and offer no solutions, no suggestions on how to actually strengthen our democratic institutions. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives are nothing more than conspiracy theories, personal attacks, just like the Trump administration. But on this side of the House, we take these issues seriously because that's what Canadians expect.